Hello and welcome to United Report. This is your home for all the latest Manchester United news, match updates, transfer stories, and in-depth analysis. Stay connected and never miss a moment. Subscribe now to stay ahead with everything happening at Old Trafford. Manchester United believe they can hand Ruben Amorim a £200 million war chest this summer by cashing in on players he is prepared to sacrifice to finance an Old Trafford rebuild. As many as 9 members of Amorim's first-team squad could depart the club in a bid to give the Portuguese a blank canvas after another season of struggle in the Premier League. And as well as raising finance through incoming transfer fees, United's money men reckon they would also save up to £80 million a year on wages. The Reds are also ready to listen to offers for Casemiro, Andre Onana and Alejandro Garnacho, while Kobbie Mainoo's future remains in doubt over the club's failure to meet his wage demands to sign a new contract. Both Casemiro and Onana are expected to generate further interest from the Saudi Pro League and could raise £20 million apiece. While £50 million rated Garnacho is once again on Napoli's radar, and Chelsea are monitoring Mainoo's situation. With Christian Eriksen set to depart when his contract expires in the summer, United are looking to back Amorim to the hilt by moulding the squad to fit his playing philosophy. A club insider said, "It may be a case of swallowing big losses on what was paid for Samcho, Antony, Casemiro and Onana, but there is an acceptance that the manager must be given the players he needs to make his system work." Offloading some of the biggest earners at the club will also create some wriggle room for the necessary rebuild. Rashford and Casemiro both bank in excess of £325,000 a week, while Sancho is on £250,000 a week. Antony and Eriksen pull £150,000 a week, and Onana is on £120,000 a week. Co-owner Sir Jim Radcliffe believes getting United's annual £172 million wage bill under control is vital for the long-term health of the club. The Reds hope that Rashford's resurrection at Aston Villa will either lead to the Midlands club meeting their £50 million valuation or flush out interest from elsewhere for a player who is back in the England squad. Real Betis have had an offer to extend Antony's loan deal by a further 12 months rebuffed. But the Brazilian winger has sparkled under former Manchester City boss Manuel Pellegrini, and the Spanish club may have the funds to make his move permanent if their excellent form translates into qualification for the Champions League. Chelsea have the option to either buy Sancho for £30 million after taking the former England winger on loan for the season, or pay £5 million in compensation to get out of the agreement. Either way, Sancho has no future in Manchester, and former club Borussia Dortmund are watching developments. Malacia, on loan at PSV Eindhoven, is also up for sale. It's unlikely that United will countenance the sale of both Garnacho and Mainoo at the same time. But profit and sustainability rules mean they would get maximum value from allowing one more homegrown player to leave alongside Rashford. Napoli were prepared to pay £35 million for the 20-year-old in January and retain a strong interest. Garnacho has lost his place in Argentina's squad and may view a move to Serie A as the best way to boost his chances of going to the World Cup, given Napoli are currently fighting for the title and are on course to qualify for the Champions League. Stockport-born Mainoo, 19, became a fan's favourite when he broke through last season to score the winning goal in the FA Cup final before starring for England at the Euros. He has suffered with injuries this season, but if an agreement over a new contract doesn't materialise, then that would tempt United to cash in on Chelsea's interest. Andre Onana has been axed for Manchester United's Premier League showdown at Newcastle today. Onana will miss the encounter at St James's Park after being taken out of the firing line by boss Ruben Amorim, following his midweek blunders in United's 2-2 draw at Lyon. Cameroon international Onana was left at home when United made the trip to Newcastle yesterday, with deputy Altay Bayindir set to make his Premier League debut against the Toon Army. Onana was at fault for both of Lyon's goals when United were held in the first leg of their Europa League quarter-final first leg tie, but is likely to be recalled for Thursday's return leg at Old Trafford unless Bayindir does enough to keep his place. Although Amorim gave Onana a vote of confidence in the immediate aftermath of the draw in Lyon, in which the 29-year-old conceded a 95th-minute equaliser, the United coach has decided to allow his troubled number one to clear his head today and missed the game. Onana has been dealing with off-field issues, with his wife the victim of a street robbery last week that left the family needing 24-hour protection. Melanie Kamayu was targeted by a thief who stole her £62,000 Hermes bag and Rolex watch as she got out of her car to meet a friend for dinner in Alderley Edge in Cheshire. Despite the off-field trauma, Onana continued to play for United, although his performances have drawn criticism this season. Former United midfielder Nemanja Matic branded Onana one of the worst keepers in United's history, after the keeper said Amorim's side were way better than Lyon in the build-up to the game. Onana has been dealing with off-field issues, with his wife the victim of a street robbery last week that left the family needing 24-hour protection. Melanie Kamayu was targeted by a thief who stole her £62,000 Hermes bag and Rolex watch as she got out of her car to meet a friend for dinner in Alderley Edge in Cheshire. Despite the off-field trauma, Onana continued to play for United, although his performances have drawn criticism this season. Former United midfielder Nemanja Matic branded Onana one of the worst keepers in United's history after the keeper said Amorim's side were way better than Lyon in the build-up to the game. Onana hit back by saying that, unlike Matic, he had won a trophy at United, the FA Cup last season, with victory over Manchester City at Wembley. Turkey keeper Bayındır returned to the United squad at Nottingham Forest earlier this month after a 9-game absence through injury. All 7 of his 7 previous appearances have come in domestic cup competitions and Europa League, but he will now make his Premier League debut. Joshua Zirkzee says it would be ridiculous to pin the blame on Andre Onana for Manchester United's 2-2 Europa League draw against Lyon. Onana made 2 howlers, including one in the 95th minute to hand Lyon a dramatic late equaliser, as Ruben Amorim's side were held in the first leg of their quarter-final tie. But Zirkzee said the United squad rallied around Onana in the wake of his latest blunders and said none of the players hold the error-prone goalkeeper culpable. 100%, said Zirkzee. We're one team, so we're not going to take someone out for making mistakes. That's ridiculous. To draw in this way is always a little bit, I don't want to say frustrating, but it hurts for it to go this way. But it is, and we just have to focus on the next game, and that's Newcastle away. Then we all know what we have to do when we face them Lyon again at home next week. I'm sure with the full support of the stadium, it's going to be difficult for them and easier for us, but they're a great team, let's not forget that, and it's not going to be easy. But we all want to win. We have to win, so we'll see. We have to win it, we all know that. There's no way around that. It's the only thing we have to do. Onana received plenty of stick from fans and pundits after his costly mistakes, and United legend Paul Scholes warned the club they might need to look at signing a new goalkeeper this summer. Yeah, I think it's something they need to think about, but they need to look at the budget as well. Can you get away with not spending that money on a goalkeeper? He hasn't been quite good enough, but it will come down to money and what Amorim has got to spend. We've seen this goalkeeper do well at Inter Milan as well. But I don't think his distribution has been great either, and that's one of the reasons he was brought in. But can you almost get away with not spending another £40 million on a goalkeeper? I don't know. Ruben Amorim has a lot of problems to solve. Amorim himself opted not to criticise Onana despite his mistakes, and insisted he was still really confident in his shot stopper. There's nothing I can say to Andre in this moment that will help him. So the most important thing is to be natural. And then when the time comes, I will choose the best 11 to play. But I'm really confident in Andre. The best thing is to look at the goals and all the actions that Andre has had in the game, and to talk with goalkeeper coaches Jorge Vital and Craig Mawson. This is the best way to help any player, to focus on the game, what happened, what we need to improve, and then put the player in again.